So I thought I'd fill you guys in on what you can expect to see on this channel in the next month or year or so. First of all, thanks for staying tuned and subscribing. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad people watch the videos. I'm going to keep making them as much as I can. Plenty of Helix videos, plenty of gear demos, and in 2020 I want to take you around and show you a couple of the different musical hats that I wear as myself as a multi-instrumentalist and how I make a living. Well, first of all, I signed off the Cunard Queen Mary 2. I've made a decision. It's going to be my last cruise ship. I'm going to try and stay home more. I had a hell of a ride back from Australia. Literally the longest day of my life. It was a 36-hour travel day. I left the ship at like 9 in the morning. Didn't arrive back in Philadelphia until 4 in the morning. Until I finally got off the airplane. 4 in the morning the next day. So if you do the calculation, it's like 36 hours or something. So I'm here in what is my new house, which you haven't seen in videos yet. If you've been following the channel for a while, you've seen videos from my cabin on that cruise ship where I was for 5 months, and you've seen videos from my old apartment. I filmed a ton of stuff before I left back in September, and so I'm still editing some stuff. You'll see, I think, one more video. I'll take you through the house here. This is the living room, and then what used to be the dining room, you can see the chandelier there, has now become my music studio. Thanks to my wife and her patience with all my equipment. Marry someone that lets you put your guitars in the dining room, that's all I can say. So I've still got some work to do here. I'm going to put these monitors up on the walls, and I think some guitars on the walls behind me too. I'm excited to see what this can become. Move some guitars around. I've got the Fender Blues Deluxe, which you might not have seen before. I've had that amp for something like 5 or 6 years. I haven't really used it much, just because the Supro is basically a better version. But I got the Quilter tone block, which is a completely solid state amp. I just got this thing. I'm really excited about it. I didn't have a solid state amp yet. And I've been using the cabinet in the Blues Deluxe for the speaker. Through the use of transistors, Quilter has managed to clone like 4 or 5 different kinds of Fender style amps. And I played with it a little bit last night. The EQ, the high cut controls seem really, really useful, and the gain sounds amazing on this thing. And obviously you can tell it's pretty small. So kind of like the way I use the HX Stomp mostly as an amp simulation platform. I'm going to try and build this into a pedal board. I think you're going to see some videos from that. This is really cool because it's got the effects loop on it. So you plug your distortion pedals, some of your modulation into the input of the amp. And then you got the preamp in here. Then go out through the effects loop into some other modulation, maybe delay and reverb, back into the amp in the power amp section. And then you can go straight from your pedal board out to a cabinet. I got to build a cabinet. I got to figure out what I want. And that's your whole rig. It's just pedal board. Your pedal board is the amp. And it's just some powered outputs to a cabinet. What's also really cool about this is the direct output. So although this thing is completely solid state, it does have digital amp simulation. So if you want to run direct out from a board and just use that cabinet as a monitor for your cell phone stage, you can do that. You just plug an XLR into the back of it. This is a pretty cool piece of kit. It's the Quilter Tone Block 201. So you're going to see a lot of this, I think, in the future. Now, something else I've been wanting to do is I wanted to build 2 separate pedal boards. Whether I end up using the Quilter on one or not, I'm not sure. I want to have one that's completely analog, very simple, small, compact, to use with this Supro. And I want to use the tube tremolo and the spring reverb in that thing too, because I really miss playing with just analog stuff. So I'm going to build a very small board, maybe 5 or 6 pedals that'll go along with that, and actually it'll fit in my guitar case. So if I'm going to a gig, it's literally just going to be the guitar on my back in my mono backpack case and the amp. Just a very simple analog setup. I don't want to put a volume pedal on there because the way I play with the volume pedal is very sensitive. I kind of just want to use the volume control on the guitar and just go what is essentially straight in the amp with a couple effects. And I kind of want to push my playing in that direction a little bit, get some more experience doing that. So I did get a bunch of new pedals while I was out. Something that's really great about having money and a lot of free time is you get to spend some time on Reverb. Set some stuff on your watch list. You get a notification when it pops below a certain price. I got the Vertex Boost, which is it's a super clean boost, but you can plug into it with an expression pedal and use that as a volume. So like I said, I'm going to use 2 boards, I'm thinking, in the future. I'm going to have one complete analog board to use with the Supro, and then one bigger one that I can use the HX Stomp, my Empress, Reverb, and Echo system I'm thinking about getting the Wampler Terraform, which is like a multi-modulation pedal. I'll use the boost here for the volume control, and obviously a bunch of external analog overdrives and stuff like I've been doing with the HX Stomp in the past. So the HX is basically going to act as an amp simulation platform and some extra modulation stuff when I want to go stereo with the modulation. So I got the Vertex boost for that. I also got the T-Drive from Vertex. This is based around the Trainwreck Express style overdrive. And an easy way of saying it is kind of like in between an AC30 and a Marshall Plexi, something like that. I tried it, played through it once a couple minutes ago, and it's a killer overdrive. It'll definitely make it on one of the boards. This next one is one that I picked up on my travels. Kind of a cool story behind this. I picked it up while the ship was in Oslo, Norway, and I was just walking around the city with a friend. We stumbled across this guitar store called Vintage Guitar. Guitar spelled G-I-T-A-R. Maybe I'll link that in the description. If you're in Norway, it's, well, you probably know about it. It's a major store. Not very big, but like a lot of really high-end stuff. And I got to play Collings I-30. They had 3 of them there. I mean, they're like $5,000 if you're talking US currency. Amazing instruments, and one of my holy grail guitars. It's based off of the Gibson 330 design, which is the ES style body, smaller, and it's full hollow, and it's got P90s on it. Just a beautifully made instrument, and it lived up to what I thought it would. It was an amazing thing. So I played that into this Caroline Shigeharu, which is a fuzz with plenty of mids in it and some other cool stuff. I think I'm going to do a demo on my channel into this some Magnetode amp. I'll put it on the screen if I can remember what it was. And just by far the most expensive rig that I've played, and God, it was amazing. So I got this cool fuzz that you'll see in the future as well. I'm not ashamed to admit that I definitely overpaid for that pedal. It's funny, I went to Norway and I bought a guitar pedal from an American manufacturer. I think they're from Columbia, South Carolina. But a guitar pedal is a way cooler piece of memory than a magnet or a t-shirt. So kind of a cool thing I have to remember Norway by. This is a one control tube screener, basically. Just something that I had my eye on. I thought they sounded great when I tried one before. Didn't have the money for it at the time, but I sat on Reverb until one popped up for a really good price, and just picked this thing up. This one's really cool. It's the X5 Echo Man. It's a Memory Man style delay. You might have seen it on the channel already. I released a demo. I got it on the ship. Just a really compact pedal that sounds freaking amazing. X5 reached out and they sent it to me, but I've been thrilled by it, and it's been on my board for 3 months now or something. Now, if you watched another video that I did recently, it was on the DoD Bone Shaker. I talked a little bit about why that company, obviously they had been around forever beforehand, called it quits for a little bit, and then came back under the Harman Audio Digitech umbrella, and they tried really hard to make it. They made some really great pedal designs, but ultimately I think they couldn't market them well enough. We ended up with a lot of really great designs again by DoD, new stuff and old stuff, reissues of old stuff as well, and we ended up getting a lot of cool pedals that were being sold and are still being sold by Harman Audio at really great prices. So I had the Bone Shaker that I picked up like 2 years ago for 30 bucks, and I got these 2 pedals for 30 bucks as well. So we've got the compressor by DoD, Compressor 280, and it's very simple, just a comp knob and a level knob. For 30 bucks, I don't think I'm going to be too disappointed. And then we've got the Overdrive 250. Which has a gain knob and a level knob, and that's it. It's a very simple pedal. It seems pretty cool, so I'm excited to use it. It's nice when it doesn't have a tone control, because in my mind this pedal is just saying this is the sound you're going to get from it, and that's it. So it's kind of a one-trick pony, but everything has its place. I'm excited to see what I can do with it. Here's another pedal I got recently that's very much a one-trick pony. It's the Maleko Vibrato. It's a series that Maleko is not making anymore, and really took me a long time to find it. It's literally just got volumes for speed and depth for the vibrato. It's got low headroom inside it, so it distorts a little bit when you feed the signal going in. A little bit of a volume drop, but if you've got some overdrive happening after that, it just makes up for that. A really cool pedal that's got a very definitive sound that I saw it a couple months ago and it sounded amazing to me, so I kept my eye out and I picked this up. The last pedal I'm going to show you, and this is not one that I bought. I got really lucky and I won this in an online contest. I can't tell you how many things I've won in online contests. I don't know why I'm lucky like that. but I am. It's by New Neighbor. It's my first New Neighbor pedal. It's the Inspire. It's a tri-chorus pedal. They were giving away 3 different pedals on Instagram, and you'd comment which one you wanted, and you tagged a friend or something like that. And I think I might have been one of the few that was asking for the chorus pedal, so maybe that's why I won. I'm a huge fan of Chorus Effect, although I don't use it all that often. I just love messing around with it and listening. Let's see if I can get the white balance to work here so you can see it. It's got a bunch of different modes on it, like 6 or 7 different modes. It's digital, it's in stereo, so you'll see a proper demo of this in the future as well. I also picked up a new camera when I was in Dubai one day. Just walking through the mall, it was absolutely mind-blowing, this place. And I came across a photo video store. Just walked in, did not expect to buy a camera, but I had my eyes on a new one. This is the Lumix GH5, and the guy made a really good deal for me with the exchange rate to the US dollar and everything. So it made sense just to get it then. That's a big improvement to this channel for sure. So real soon I'll have 2 videos coming out that I filmed on the ship. The first just talking about the gig. I have so many people asking me questions about that all the time. Since this channel grew a little bit and I started posting videos from the ship, I get a ton of message requests on Facebook just from people that want to know what the gig is like and what it entails, living on the ship, what that's like, and you know, what do you need to be able to do as a guitar player to get that gig. So I'll have a video coming out soon talking about that, and another one talking about what I've learned about modern production shows in big theaters, how a lot of these production shows are run. They involve click track, and it's very kind of a complicated subject, so it'll be a very in-depth video talking about that. Now, if you're a Helix user, I know I have a lot of followers that are subscribed to this channel because they want to see new presets and they want to try some of my free stuff out. I do have a lot of presets I designed on the ship. You're going to see some videos that I filmed in my cabin coming out very soon, but also there's a ton of presets that I built on the ship. Basically, I would sit in my cabin with headphones on, design the bass amp tone, and then I would take that, I'd take my unit, and I'd go and sit down in one of the closed areas on the ship, and they had a really nice JBL, like 1000-watt full frequency response speaker. I'd set that up at a distance and play through that, tune a little bit more in HX Edit with my computer. And then I would go to the theater. I'd use them over the course of a couple nights, and you know, playing through in-ears, and I'd really tune them so that they were cutting through the mix with the rest of the band. We had a nice Aviom system, so I could, you know, create my own monitor mix right in front of me. So I would use the preset one night, and you know, kind of get an impression of how it fit with the band, tweak it a little bit, go in the next night, try it over the course of a week or so. And to round things off, just to make sure they did sound good out in the house, one night I got in behind the sound desk in the main theater, and I was playing stuff through the multi-million-dollar sound systems they set up in there. So these presets coming out real soon are going to be special for sure. I've got my preset library. It's $5 if you haven't bought into that, and it's just an easy .hlx file download of all the free presets I have in my videos. If you're interested in some more in-depth presets, maybe if you're thinking about if you've got a Les Paul, for example, and you want a bunch of good presets to use with the Les Paul, I've started to develop some standalone preset packs that'll be different from the library that I'm offering already. Thinking something like $5 or $10 for the whole thing, and I'm thinking it'll be like 10 or 12 presets that I've tuned to work really well with my McCarty and my Epiphone Les Paul. Or for example, a pack of 10 or 12 presets that are really designed to work well with Strat style guitars. I'll use my own Strat obviously, and I'll borrow some other people's Strats if I can, and try and tune them so that they sound good based on, you know, a couple different instruments, so I can have a really good middle ground for you. So if you're a Strat player and you want a preset pack to start building your own presets around, then I'll have that. It'll basically just be amp tones and stuff like that. This was my board for the last 5 months on the ship, and actually maybe 4 or 5 months before I left as well. So I'm itching to tear it up and try some new stuff. I said I'm going to build that analog board. That'll be a very simple thing. I want to learn a little bit about soldering. I've got a guitar I need to fix now. The last 2 days on the contract, wouldn't you believe that my Strat stopped working. The volume control went, and I could have opened it up and just bypassed it or repurposed the tone control to serve as a volume, but I didn't feel like going in there and messing stuff up. I know there's solder guns on the ship that I could have used, but I just decided to borrow someone else's guitar for the last 2 days. So something I wanted to learn and get better at was soldering electronics and stuff. I want to wire not only the very basic analog board, that'll be the baby step, but after I'm done with that, I want to wire up a much larger full digital board. So this is going to be something that I want to equip with MIDI. I'm looking at getting the Morningstar MC6 or the MC8. It's a MIDI switcher that's going to control the wet effects, so the reverb, the delay, and if I do get the Wampler Terraform, that'll control the modulation from that pedal, and maybe some presets in the Helix and the modulation I'm going to use in the Helix as well. And then I'll have a bunch of analog drives. I've got to get a new expression pedal here. The Boss one broke on the ship as well. So I know that's going to be a pretty big project for me. I'm going to do the analog one to kind of get my feet wet with it. And then I think once I'm comfortable with that, I'm going to start working on this big digital board. It'll probably take me over the course of a month, just getting all the right parts together. I want to film it and create a couple different videos, kind of like a little mini series where I'm building this thing and how I'm doing stuff, how I'm wiring it up for power and the audio signal, how I'm setting up stuff with the MIDI switcher. It'll be my first time using a MIDI switcher. So a lot of new stuff for myself to learn, and I can take you along and show you that stuff with it too if you're interested. So as always, I want to thank you guys for your time. Thanks for checking out the video and staying tuned to my channel. Lots more stuff to come in the future. I'm going to keep uploading videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I'll see you in the next one.